Hello, everybody.
Hi there.
Welcome back to the next installment of Sacramento Cornerstone Childbirth, live on Wednesdays. Today we are talking about planning. So, are you a planner? Do you ascribe to the old adage, if you fail to plan, then you plan to fail?
Yes, I
do. We want to show you that you can turn your plans into preferences. That's the beautiful word, and still aim for the birth that of your dreams. And even if your birth experience takes a detour. So hit the love button if you hear us loud and clear. And we want to say hi to everybody who's watching this on a replay. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Again, if you missed us last week, we'll give you a short introduction. So my name is Jen Kelly. I'm a birth doula, and I am a trained Cornerstone doula. Trained Cornerstone childbirth educator. That was like a dream. My
You're
business,
honorary.
I feel like it. My business is Belly to Bliss Birth Services, and we'll give all of our information on how to find us at the end. So.
I'm Amy Moy. My business is Riverbend Birth Services. I'm a certified Cornerstone doula, the real deal.
The real deal.
And a certified Cornerstone childbirth educator. I'm also a placenta specialist, and I am fresh off a birth. I've had about 2.5 hours sleep, so be kind. Jen's going to help me through it.
Definitely.
Going to be my Facebook
partner.
doula.
Yes.
All right, so birth plans, and as Jen said, we want to encourage you to make the shift in terms of thinking about it as a list of preferences versus a plan, and unfortunately we have heard some crazy in the hospital room, and also, we get reports back from our clients when they bring in their birth preferences document and have talked to their OB and gotten some interesting response. So these are some of the things we've heard. Why would you want to set yourself up for disappointment?
Hint, failure. They like that word.
Yeah. You're just asking for a C-section. Okay, I've heard that one.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to get everything on your checklist. I have personally seen, and we alluded to this last week, I've personally seen a birth plan used as a mouse pad in a patient's room. And we want to hear from you. So what other things have you heard in response to birth plans, birth preferences? What has the response been for you out there? We kind of alluded to it, but why preferences instead of plans? So I'm going to read a definition to you. Merriam-Webster dictionary defines a plan as a method for achieving an end, an often customary method of doing something, a detailed formulation of a program of action, goal, or aim.
And a preference is defined as the power or opportunity of choosing, the act, fact, or principle of giving advantages to some over others, priority in the right to demand and receive satisfaction of an obligation. So out of those two definitions, which one shows flexibility? And we hope that you agree that preferences is far less rigid than a checklist of your plan.
Definitely. And I don't know if it's my own personality, but I tend to attract a lot of A-type personality.
I love them.
I know, they're awesome. A-type personality clients, right? And so, a lot of us are in this day and age. We are socialized to, do it all for ourselves and not rely on others and not ask for help. And, we're list writers and we like to check off our items on our list. So, to our beloved A-type personality clients, we're not saying don't plan for, a beautiful birth. We're not saying don't plan on not exercising your rights in the birthing room, right? But what we want for our A-type personality clients is we want you to still feel good about your birth experience, even if things take a detour, and I'm not saying that, you change your mind about something. Birth is a mystery, right? And we don't always know what's around the corner. And so if you can plan for some flexibility, and I really do recommend, during pregnancy, do some work on letting go of some of the rigidity. When I think plan, I think checklist, right? I'm going to get this, and I'm going to get this, I'm going to get that. And if I don't get those things, I'm not going to be happy with my experience. Right. And we know that when you've got your beautiful baby in your arms and you're home and, you're trying to establish feeding and bonding with your baby, that if you are still thinking about your birth experience in terms of the woulda, coulda, shouldas, then it can interfere with both feeding and bonding. Yes. And so we really do recommend that you try to, at least bring some flexibility into the room.
Absolutely.
Okay. At the end of the day, we just have to get out of our own way, right? And
you
just
say that so much,
but
it's like the truth.
Yeah. Surrender to the birth experience, right? Let birth happen. Let your body take over and do the good work that it needs to do. And really at the end of it, the key is ensuring that you are a part of the decision-making team, right? So we don't want things done to you. We want you to be an active participant. Mm-hmm. And next week, we're actually going to be talking about informed decision-making, informed refusal, informed consent. Mm-hmm. So stay tuned for that.
So why do these documents get such a bad rap? As people that are giving birth, patients that bring in this document of birth preferences, are they just asking for a C-section? That is just awful. But if you're a care provider and you answered yes, we'd like to offer you some evidence. We're always about evidence to the contrary. So I'm going to read this direct quote from notes. So, as Grant et al. 2010 discovered, while there is no scientific evidence to support the hypothesis that patients with birth plans have worse outcomes, the research demonstrates that caregivers believe that they do. This is important because it may influence the way they care for the patient during labor. If providers suspect that a patient with a birth plan will be more likely to a cesarean section, it may lead them to this intervention sooner than it would for a patient without a birth plan. That's Grant et al. 2010, page 34. Divergent perceptions and priorities may lead to conflict between caregivers and patients. Patients may feel unsupported because nurses and doctors may focus more on technology rather than face-to-face patient care. And that's Fleming et al. 2011. Nurses and doctors may become frustrated because patients come into the hospital with a list of expectations but have not prepared emotionally or physically for their birth. And that's Carlton et al. 2009. So this is just kind of a summary on this research that was published by Shelley White Corey. She's MSNRN on the Lippincott Nursing Center website, sorry. And we'll put the link to the entire study in the comments below. But interesting.
But really, so in other words, right, considering the research, what it really boils down to is the belief system of your care team, the people in the room. So if they believe that you're more likely to have a C-section or need multiple interventions, if you come in with this document, then, like the research is showing, they might act in that way.
Right.
Okay. Julie Tilsner, who is one of the authors of the childbirth method that we teach, the cornerstone method of childbirth education, says, the outcome of your birth will be directly impacted by the belief systems of those you choose to assist with your pregnancy and birth. But here's the mic drop, okay? It's not even about the document, okay? If you lost your birth preferences document on the way to the hospital forgot it, ran out of paper, when you were going to print it. That's okay, because you've already done the legwork to get yourself informed about what your options are. You've done that sports psychology that I like to talk about with my clients, where you're seeing yourself on the big day, and you're imagining how you would respond to different scenarios. And you've gone out of your way to take a really thorough childbirth education class, so you are prepared for the rigor of birth. Those two are the most impactful, okay?
But because there's a real value in actually working on this document, we're going to give you 3 fabulous tips for birth preferences. They're kind of our must-haves when it comes to doing your birth preferences document. So a short intro. Humanize yourself. Put a picture of you and your partner, and make it so you're not just a bed filler. Put a face to you and your experience. Kind of put your vision of what you see your birth happening in a nutshell, in a short little paragraph at the top of your document.
And we recommend that you list your preferences in chronological order. So the birth plan or birth preferences document or template that I share with my clients has boxes for each aspect of birth, right? So upon admission, during labor, a whole box dedicated to anesthesia options, immediately following the birth. There's a section at the bottom for newborn care and procedures. And then we do recommend, even if you're not planning to have a surgical birth, we do recommend that you think ahead about what your options might be in the event of a surgical birth. And my clients just throw those on the back of their document.
And this may allude maybe to a future live topic. Mm-hmm. Yes, you have lots of choices still when you have a cesarean birth.
Absolutely.
So stay tuned for that. So third is convey flexibility and ethics. So we can't have you putting on your document that even in the event of a C-section, I don't want any anesthesia whatsoever, nothing. Well, that's not ethical. They can't do that. It would definitely not benefit you. So just remember, no absolutes, no stuff that's gonna be unethical for a physician to perform on you. So we even like to make sure that you convey that flexibility. So like we said earlier, that birth is such a mystery. So you have lots of twists and turns that can happen. And with the absolutes that you can put in your document, it kind of might give off that reflection that you are not open to making some decisions along the way.
And it puts care providers in a difficult position.
Absolutely.
Right? They
yes.
feel really uncomfortable when they don't feel like they have wiggle room.
Right. And then we have a bonus tip. Make it 1 page in length. So if you come in with multiple pages for doctors and nurses to flip through, they're least likely to flip through and read all those pages. Okay. So 1 page in length, bullet points, all that kind of good stuff with those, fabulous boxes on Amy's template. Just quick and easy to kind of read it through.
Okay, and here's a big one. Because we know that this belief system exists among care providers, some care providers and nurses, we want you to have a fighting chance on the big day of having your preferences respected and honored. So what I recommend in order to cut through that assumption that might be made of you when, care provider X, who's on call on the day of your birth, who might not be the person you regularly see during prenatals, picks up your document and goes, I got your number. When you have your final document complete, bring it to your next prenatal with your care provider, your OB or your midwife, and ask them to go through the entire document with you. It can be really eye-opening.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Because if you get some discomfort about something on your list, that could be a red flag for you. That could be a point of further questions, and it can give you an indication that there might need to be a lot of advocacy around that topic at your chosen birth location. So bring it with you to your next OB or midwifery appointment. After you go through it with them and they agree that your options that you're choosing or planning to choose are reasonable within that system of care, have them sign it at the bottom and then ask them to scan that version of your birth preferences into your chart. Here's what happens. So care provider X, whoever's on call the day of your baby's birth, opens up your chart, sees your birth preferences document, sees their colleague's signature at the bottom, and so they understand that you've had an intelligent conversation with one of their colleagues. Their colleague has signed off on it, okay? And so that helps cut through some of that BS in terms of you're just asking for a C-section. So they know right away before they even read the document that, okay, these are going to be reasonable requests that connote flexibility. The other thing I recommend, even before you get to that final draft, is have an experienced birth worker look over your document. So, you know, it's something that we do for our clients. We're going to mention an offer at the end of this video, but get some constructive feedback about it, right? Okay. We want you to have birth options and preferences down below that are in alignment with your goals in a nutshell, right?
And you can learn a lot about your chosen birth location and your care provider's alignment with your values by sharing your birth preferences with your providers. Those are those red flags that Amy said, that if you are having this conversation when you're going through your document and it's not aligning, you know that, like Amy said again, that you're going to want to possibly look for another provider if that provider happens to be the one that shows up to your birth, because you deserve a good birth. Being the person that is active in their birth and making these decisions not based on fear and all that kind of good stuff by going through. And if you have your vision just kind of nixed at the beginning, it's a big red flag. So, to get more tips on writing an effective birth preferences document, come to our next class.
Absolutely. We'd love to have you.
We have a big section that we talk about all these different things and how to write a really great birth plan. So let me make sure I get this straight since I'm saying dates. So our next class is in October, so October 6th through the 27th. And that's going to be the Saturday class. So that's perfect for November and December due months. And then we also have the Wednesday night option starting on October 31st. Costumes optional.
I still haven't decided if I'm going to wear a costume.
I have my cute bumblebee ears.
Oh, from the door.
They're not really ears, but they're, what are they? Antenna.
All right, so we may or may not be in costume on October 31st. So here's the offer that I was talking about earlier. So we will look over your birth preferences document for you. Normally we charge a $30 fee to look it through, offer constructive feedback, look at subsequent drafts. But if you send us a draft of your birth preferences document, send it to saccornerstonechildbirth@gmail.com. SAC Childbirth, or sorry, SAC Cornerstone Childbirth @gmail.com. Be sure that your intro encapsulates the kind of birth experience you're seeking. So, for example, if you are hoping to achieve an unmedicated birth, for example, make sure you have that in the intro so that we can look at your options and see if they're in alignment with that goal. If you want all the things, put that in your intro and we'll make sure that everything matches up. So we truly do support and honor all birth choices.
So if you are interested in that, we are going to give a little offer of $10 off. So that will be a $10 savings, so $20. If you submit to that email address before September 30th. And I just want to kind of put in just a little bit that having a birth worker, be it your doula, your childbirth educator, even your provider, it's not saying that we are going to change the type of birth that you are seeking. That the constructive criticism is, no, you should not do XYZ. That's not what it's about.
No.
At all. It's your birth. It's your choices, your body, your choice. So it's just basically doing those things that we talked about to make sure that there's no absolutes that are going to be, unethical for doctors to do, and stuff that may be a little bit of questioning and maybe clearing some stuff up. So it's not choosing anything for you at all. It's just kind of shining it up and making sure that everything is and the language is great, and that you understand the things that you're putting down in there. So you may have one topic and then something else that just is not meshing, and so it's more informational.
All right, and I was just going to look to see if there were any questions. While we're on live, do you have questions about birth preferences documents? Is there anything that we can answer while we're recording? I cannot see my phone. We're actually simulcasting on Instagram up there. That's why I keep looking up.
We just have some good wishes.
Yeah, thanks for watching.
Maiden Love, which is Courtney, and
how can you
Sarah? Glasses on. Sarah saying that we're doing great.
Thanks, Sarah.
Thanks, guys. We've had some love too from Diane.
Thanks for watching.
So even after the video ends, when we're not live anymore, put your questions in. If you have some general questions that we can help you with, we'll be checking back in our comments to make sure that everything is answered.
Definitely. And let us know what other topics you'd like us to tackle. You can send us a DM. You can put your question right in the comments. We will definitely circle back. And be sure to come back next week because, as we mentioned earlier, we are going to be talking about informed decision making. So this is understanding what your rights are, understanding the difference between hospital policy and law, which they are different, and how to make informed choices and consent, as well as informed refusal of interventions that you are not ready to employ. So should we talk about how they can reach us?
Sure.
Okay.
So again, Jen Kelly, birth doula. My business is Belly to Bliss Birth Services. My website is bellytobliss.com. My Facebook is the same, Belly to Bliss Birth Services. My email is jennifer@bellytoblissbirthservices.com. Oh my gosh, that's a mouthful. And my phone number is 209-322-5271.
All right. And again, I'm Amy. Business is Riverbend Birth Services, same name on Facebook. Instagram is SAC.
Sacramento.
This is what 2.5 hours of sleep does to a doula. Sacramento Doula, at Sacramento Doula's Instagram. And then our joint project, Sacramento Cornerstone Childbirth. You can find us by the same name on Facebook. Many of you are watching there now. And then Instagram is SAC, Cornerstone Childbirth. I think we got it right this time.
Yes.
Okay.
And our email address, we kind of said, but we'll say it one more time. saccornerstonechildbirth@gmail.com.
Absolutely. So thank you so much for hanging out with us. We're really enjoying interacting with you and sharing what we know. We love our birth community and we want to continue to be a part of it. So keep coming back and we're looking forward to future lives. Thanks so much, everybody.
Bye on Facebook. I mean, on Instagram. You switched your camera over.
Oh, it's because this thing is so flat.
We will end in a second.
Another step. Oh, that's hilarious. That is hilarious. So sorry.
No, it's funny.
That's embarrassing.
Well, at least you switched your camera and I'm not over here like,
Right. It's the window. Okay, save. Ooh, that was all just a blur for me.
Are we still on here?